It's coffee talk. 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 Shh, coffee talk. Cheers. We're talking about learning is in layers. So I just finished teaching a class where we did some handstands. And, handstands is like, oh, it's dynamic. Oh, it's advanced. Oh, I'm not strong enough. When I was younger, before my injury, before I had kids, like all the things that come up when we do handstands. And so we were talking about today just being really humble, sitting in humility with our practice. So we're talking about layers of learning. And so what I'd like to do today is I'd like to show you how do you know if you're ready for a handstand. So come on over to the mats. So as we talked about in our class, ignore my little props. I've got all kinds of little toys here that we use in our classes. This is fun, okay? But what we're focusing on is if you don't know if you're ready for a handstand, I always recommend starting off with dolphin. So the elbows are right under the shoulders, not wide like this, but right underneath those shoulders, and then pressing the palms down. You can also interlace the fingers. Some people like to teach it with the palms down. And all you're doing is just going up. Now, notice that my ears are in line with my arms, right? My ears are not in line with my arms here, but once I take my bottom up, my ears are in line. But as soon as I start to straighten my legs, I go off that line. So that's what happens to some folks is that they start to lose their integrity of the pose because they're straightening the knees. So in order to keep your ears in line with those arms, you can totally bend the knees, okay? Totally bend the knees. This is showing you this one leg at a time, perhaps, how much strength, how much balance do you have in this upper body? Are you wobbling, right? Are you wobbling? Second round, if you are practicing your down dog, your handstand, you could practice the same way. Are you wobbling in your arms when you start to bring your legs up? Right? Are your hamstrings so tight that you go off those arms? Look at my ears are far away from my arms now, bending my knees, dragging that perineum to the sky. Now my ears are right in line with my arms. So that's what we're looking for. Can you take one leg up? Do you get really wobbly in your arms, or can you feel that hugging in of the bandhas, the belly lock, the pelvic floor lock, right? That's the second option to check in. First the dolphin, then one-legged down dog. If you are ready, tuck your shirt in. That's the first step. Tuck it in. And number two, I want you to watch my left foot. So we're going to step the left foot forward here. And I'm going to use my right leg to kick. So I'm going to look at my hands. And all I'm going to do is just kick. But see how my left foot barely leaves the surface, right? It barely leaves. That's number three, practicing the kick up. If you're wobbling, right? If you're wobbling when you're kicking up, then you need to go back to the earlier level and build that balance. The bones do the work in yoga, not the muscles. The muscles support the bones. We want the bones to do this work. This is mountain. Handstand is turning it over, right? So now, next round, if you can, bring your left foot in, take a big inhale, smile, and float up. Again, inhale, smile, and float up. That was a little thuddy. But the idea is it's nice and floating on the exhale, okay? And then you'll play with that posture, strong bones with the muscles wrapping around. And then, of course, you'll take child's pose and rest. Okay? Turning our world upside down, feeling the difference of what it is when we turn ourselves upside down and we look around, whole new perspective. Okay? So this idea of I want to learn the poses, right? I want to learn the poses. Learning is in layers. And I just heard this in the class recently. We go, I don't really know how to do it. I do the triangle, I do the warrior two, I'm doing handstand, I'm doing whatever the teacher calls out, but I never really learned it. I don't really know what I'm doing. The yoga retreat, that's what we do. We slow it all down. You have the time, right? You have the time to really learn, and for me and you to be able to really see what's happening on your mat, helping you adjust to whatever it is that's your level for that class. And we get to learn our yoga. We get to really sort of slow it down and really bring it up. How do we do that? We have classes twice a day, right? In restorative yoga for bone health, fascial tissue. Some of us are doing flow, some of us are doing intermediate advanced sequences, but in that very same class, some of us are doing more restorative, gentle hatha movements, just building strength and stability. So we have the luxury of time in classes. Also, you and I have the time and energy for me to come by and check on you, for you and I to have a discussion throughout the weekend of things that are coming up on the mat for you. I get to be with you in real time, not on video, but in person, where we get to see each other and touch each other and like really be in it. We're going to do it through the 2 classes a day. So there's like 5 or 6 classes over the weekend. We get to have time together. You can ask any questions that you have. And when you leave the yoga retreat, not only are you going to be reset and feeling completely connected to yourself and to the people that you've met and got a whole bunch of new friends, hopefully, but you're going to walk away having dove into the learning of yoga. So you don't have to pretend you know what you're doing anymore. You don't have to just follow the leader, Simon says. You know how to grow the practice from where you are today, right, into that sequence or into that posture in your right alignment, right? We're not all the same. So where is your right alignment? And I can help you get there. And then you have this yoga retreat where you really get to learn and you really get to explore and reset that yoga practice for the next year, where you're starting with, I know what I'm doing, and now I can build, instead of I'll just follow what they say. And some point I'm going to catch up and figure out where my knee goes or where my arms are supposed to go or why this shoulder hurts when I do this, right? You're going to be able to practice it from you, from your own individuality. Okay. So as always, if you have any questions or any feedback or anything like this that you want me to cover here, let me know. But handstands, again, layers of learning. Each pose opens to the next pose. You don't have to conquer your handstand today. How do you feel in dolphin? How do you feel in down dog? How do you feel kicking up? So you're building layer after layer after layer till one day it just becomes almost effortless. Okay. All right. Thanks for joining me on my coffee talk. Sign up for the retreat. We have 2 queens left and 1 twin. And it's in January 13th through the 15th. If money's holding you back, or if you got some question about like timing or what you need or anything like that, reach out. I love this. Is I think our 6th annual Turn It Up to 360 retreat in Michigan. I think that's what we're at. And it's a really good time. There's a heated pool. I'm thinking like a volleyball game in the pool this year. I want to have a party. Right? So those of you who are wanting to have a party with me, little festivities with me, that's what we're doing. There's a jacuzzi, there's a micro farm, there's lots of bars and restaurants in the city for those of you who want to go. You can just stay at the inn or stay in your cottages and just be together and in your jammies all day. It's whatever you want. Okay. So reach out. I'm going to start ordering catering soon. So let me know if you're coming with us, and I hope you do. All right. Much love. I will see you next time. Namaste.